Hey everyone, you made it. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. What's a lovely day to chat about 5 ways CEOs can maximize their business with the help of HR. Okay, so I'm going to go through 5 ways, and for each way, going to be trying to give a practical tip that you can do and some real examples that I in my day to day. Sweet. So if this is your first time joining me here, this is my What is HR Anyway, which is a series that I designed for CEOs running businesses with teams of fewer than 50 without an in-house HR team. Okay. I dive into essential HR topics, trends, and then I try to give tips to maximize your business. My goal is just to share relevant topics that I see come up in the marketplace and then funnel them through on how do we implement them? Do we implement them when we are teams under 50? So what matters, right? Hi, everyone. I'm Aviva. I'm the founder of Integral HR and AvivaWordy.com. I like to ask what, why, what are the cool kids doing? And then this is how we're going to do it. Welcome to the wonderful world of HR. In good faith and in good practice, let's start out with a quote. Take care of your employees and they will take care of your business. It is that simple. Richard Branson. So where do we start? Find the right people is half the battle. Air quote, I bucket that as the recruiting part of it, and keeping them is the other half. And I bucket that as HR. Okay. I talk as both a recruiter and as HR because I am both. And to me, obviously, the worlds collide. And I really honestly can't see one without the other. Okay. Perfect. I'm going to dive right in. Number one, being a little bit more hefty. I always think that when you start from the beginning, if you start correctly, you end up in a better place. Probably too many helpful tips that you can choose from on which one makes sense for you to implement in your business. Okay. Talent acquisition, retention, AKA recruiting, AKA hiring. Okay. Tip one under here, set clear standards. Okay. What do I mean by that? It's not set clear standards on the role, which of course is important. I want you to step back one step further and say, how do I define the employee profile that I'd like to work in this company? Okay, so you might already have people in the business. You probably do if you're listening in here. Look around, top performers, people that you want to make sure are in the business in the coming years. What do they have in common? What do they do? How do they do it? And almost create like a customer profile for your team and your business. What this is going to do for you and allow you to do is say yes or no faster in the interview process. When something is clear, it's easy for you to say, again, yes and no. It's also easier for other people externally to be attracted to what's going on there because it's in number. And it's easier to attract top talent because people attract people that they know and that they like, right? So standards are the same. Next one I was going to mention, I was going to say focus on the job description, but I changed my mind. Nobody's reading them like they used to. Emphasis if you're spending your time somewhere, I'm going to recommend you spend it on the job scope. When I say job scope, what I mean is this. You're encompassing a document that has the role mission, the role outcomes, so what you want this role to achieve if it's in its best success, right? KPIs, what are you looking at and how are you measuring whether it's working or not? And then the must-have skills. So what skills do they need to do in order to achieve? So on and so forth, okay? So start with the job scope. It'll help you get into the job description. But if you're clear on what you're looking for, whether people read your job description or not, when you're filtering, you'll be able to, again, say yes or no. Okay, so just that pre-filter in your mind being so much easier or just brings clarity and peace into the process. Step 3 within that recruiting bucket that you can implement to save yourself and help the process would be structured interview. You want to develop consistent interview process and consistent interview questions. Asking the same question to every candidate allows you to have consistency, obviously, in the responses. It's going to help you understand what great looks like, and it's going to help you be able to compare candidates. So if you have 2 candidates that you were like 2 top candidates and you're like, how do I assess? Having them answer the same questions is going to allow you to pull apart their answers to see which one reflects most effective in role. Okay. This is one area where I say, don't go with the flow. Don't go with the flow. Have your questions prepared. Or if you must go with the flow because, oh my gosh, then please go with the flow after your said questions just to open it up and understand the candidate a little bit more. Last little tidbit under Recruiting is onboarding. Okay, onboarding, as I was preparing for this, is probably a whole separate topic that I can dive into. If that's helpful, you can drop that in the comments if you'd like me to talk about that. Where I think is helpful is you might not have an onboarding official program yet, but you are welcoming them in on day one. You want to make sure that your new hires are clear on the job expectations and how they are contributing to the company's success. Okay, the clearer people are from the day one, the easier it is for them to be successful. And if you recall my recommendation for the job scope, that is very helpful because if you've already created that, you can literally give it to them on day one as their new day one document. And then they can just read through that and be really clear. And then with that, schedule their 30-day check-in and their 60-day check-in and use the job scope. Literally just use the job scope to help navigate and structure those conversations to understand if you've made the correct hire and the hire feels like they're the correct one in the role around your 30-60. This will help you eliminate having people sitting in roles too long. And again, clarity is everything that I seek in life and I seek for you. Such a great example of how HR can help you in this area of recruiting. Like just yesterday, partner that I work with is, hey, Viva, he gave me a job title and he's like, go hire. Okay. And I was like, cool, because I'm part of the business and I'm connected. I understand how to create the job description, the job scope. I know what questions to ask and I can pull all these things together. So if recruiting, which is not everyone's favorite thing to do, is a little heavy for you, having a partner to help make it easy for you where you can just say yes or no to the people that you want to hire is a great place to plug in HR recruiting into your business. Cool. Number 2, retention. Okay. You want people that you've hired, you've worked hard, you're going to train them, you want them to stay, of course, if they're doing a good job. So one of the ways that you can help people stay is help them identify or point out skill gaps. So basically, at this point, you're not running assessments and you're not like, hey, let me sit down, analyze skill gap across the business. But a quick way to look and see if there is going to be, or if you have a skill gap, is look for any areas where you've offered something new to the clients, you have a new service, a new process, a new tool. Easy heads up to look for the space between what I have been doing and what I need to do. And there's probably going to be some development or time that needs to be spent on understanding something. So coming into a supportive environment, so either knowing that you're launching something new and preemptively going in there, hey, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? What do we need to teach you in order for you to excel at said next step? Or a great way to bring in HR to help is, as that partner for the team to talk to. Okay. 10 people, so easy to have those conversations with CEO. I'd imagine you're probably a 10 leading those conversations, right? 50, slightly more challenging, 20, 25. It's not that you don't love and want to, it's that time is of the essence. And on the flip side, team stops feeling as comfortable. So 10 employees, your buddy, 15, 20, it's already once removed. They're probably not going to be coming to you, everyone, to have these conversations. So having someone in place to help understand and be able to have the conversations of what's next for me is a very helpful place to plug in HR/recruiting. Number 3, performance. Okay. Performance management to me is like the end of the road when you've already checked all your boxes and you're managing the performance versus understanding the performance. The piece here that is so important, whatever your process is right now, is recognition. Everybody wants to be recognized. It doesn't mean it has to be money. It doesn't mean it has to be anything. You just make it uniquely you if you want. But the important piece is that you do it. Okay. So if you have clear, measurable goals or achievements, you want to make sure that you're recognizing the team members and the teams that are helping you achieve that. Okay. So one example of where HR can come in and help support you with that is making individual goals and potentially putting compensation packages around company goals and numbers is such an easy way for you to remember and also for the team to remember that they've hit it or what they're marching towards, because everyone at this point is looking at the business metric. Okay. So you're going to hit your Q3 this month. You're going to know if you're ramping up and you've already achieved what you set out to do. You're also going to know. So you just want to remember, hey, recognize the people that are putting in the work to help us get there. Number 4, okay, compliance. Okay, risk, employee relations, all the fun things. Of course, most of us obviously want to ignore them or make it go away. Not the case. My recommendation here is to focus in on your people policies. Okay, you want to make sure that the policies that you have in place are impactful and helpful for the team to help them understand how we do it here. Okay, how do we operate in the business so that we can all run safely and smoothly? Example that I always like to give is, does your PTO policy still make sense? Do you have one other than you get 10 days off? Okay. Why is this helpful? It's helpful for you, obviously, to know who's out. It's helpful for the team to understand when they could request, how they can request, how many days they can request. You want to make sure that you don't have your whole team or your whole business out all on the same day, right? Another thing that came to mind here is, how do you handle holidays? Okay. Is everyone off? Do some people have to be requested off? Do you rotate? What does that look like? So thinking through that and being able to articulate that is very helpful for yourself. And then for employees understanding how to manage their work and their time off. Okay. HR is very helpful there, obviously, in understanding if you have a problem, if you don't have a problem, and making sure that the policies are up to date and reflective of what you're trying to do within the business. A good way to know if you need to refresh something is to talk to the teams. If you're hearing something twice or three times, there's a practice that needs to be revisited by you to help you understand what has been articulated, what isn't articulated, and how to move forward from there. Last one, just like a filter, as you might be thinking about HR, you might want to bring in, you probably will have someone within the business that's helping you with these functions. So where HR sits in the business and who it reports into does change what I call the flavor of your HR. Okay, so if HR is either part of or will sit with your operations team, your HR is going to look very operational focused, and they will probably focus on SOPs and how we do things. That'll be the filter there. If they're reporting into finance, then the filter, of course, obviously, you know where I'm going with it, is going to be around cost. How much does this cost? What is cost associated when we have to pay? Cost pay. Not a bad thing, such an important thing in a business, but also we have to sometimes spend before we can justify cost, or just knowing if we're going to bring in more people, there's usually a cost associated with it. So numbers matter, but that shouldn't be the determining factor in the decision making from my perspective. And then CEO. Okay, so my recommendation is always, if you want HR to be a co-pilot and keep them plugged into the business, you want them to report into that CEO. Okay, that way they can follow the business, right? And also see what needs to happen next. Okay, so that helps HR be your advisor and your co-pilot in what new skills, what we need. Oh, this is a great new role for someone else, or this manager's not working, or gosh, there's too much work on one team. Could we utilize someone else in there, right? You want to make sure that like your HR partners looking forward and then paying attention to the team. So where we are and where we're going. And the easiest way to do that is to stay plugged in, obviously, to the CEO, because at this point, you're navigating all of the decisions. Claro, that's it. We've done it. Thank you for sitting with me for these few minutes as I went through 5 ways and quick areas where you can make fast impact within your HR process. I have created a one-pager. If this is something that you'd like, just comment in the section, Integral HR, and I can send that over to you. To reach out if you have any questions, thoughts, agree or disagree with what I said. All my tidbits are here to help, all of us in this space of 50 and under. Have a great issue your day, and we will talk soon.